Hmm. Ultimate Madness 3. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. The reason why I say that is because the people that lost, it was it wasn't the worst, but man, it was so disappointing, man. But I mean, somebody got to lose. I wanted people to lose because, well, actually, no, no. Let me say this. Let me be clear. KCJ lost and Cortez lost. So going to the finals and for the well, not the finals, but the battle for the 100K is of course Geechi Gotti and N.O.M.E. Technically, a lot of people had that as their bracket anyway, but they just didn't have KCJ going this far, and I think that's what really messed the brackets up. I'm glad I didn't make one. For one, I don't actually look at women in battle rap as different from the men. I look at you as competition. I like the fact that Geechi looked at her as competition and he didn't try to look at her as, oh, she's a woman, she's beneath my skill set and all that. Now, in the battle, he had bars related to her not being good or whatever, but I like the fact that he respected her enough to give her a tailored fight. Before we get into that special power shit, um, it started off with like pre-battles. You had Holmesy and you had Oops. That battle was actually pretty good. That was a really good battle. It just okay, no, no. Let me say this. Oops was really good in that battle. Holmesy wasn't himself to me. Like what I've seen from him in the competition and even when he battled other people, he lost better. Like in the competition he won. But if he lost outside of the competition, like a battle after that, it was like it wasn't that bad of a loss. It actually made it kind of debatable. But um, this with Oops was clear all 3 rounds. It was clear, like clear, clear. Oops was saying everything that a person with his status wanted to say. Like if he wanted to say more, he could have. He could have expanded on all of the stuff he's been doing, all of the type of money he's made, all of that. He could have really went there. Glad he didn't, and he kept it the way he had it because he still won to me. Even what he was saying and all the topics he was on, how we really not the same, and you want to convince people that we the same mentality because we both speak on the same things. Like, Oops was talking. It's just yeah, he was also better than Holmesy in every round. It was just shocking to me that it was so weak. Like he had the oops flips that he had. It was like, yeah, it's not really good. He had a oopsie daisy bar. I know oopsie daisy, but it's really tricky to make bars like that hit. And you have to either have some incredible setup or an incredible performance with it. But you can't just say a oopsie daisy bar. It's not only old, but it's also oh well, it relates to oops. It's a lot of bars you could say that relates to people that is still it still can be whack because either they didn't execute it in they just didn't execute it in the fashion that it needs to be because a really simple bar could be executed quite well. We've seen that happen a lot. But anyway, moving on to what was the next battle after that? What was the other one? It was oh, forgot who it was. Hold on, let me look real quick. Yeah, we had Ace Amin versus Gems. I don't even know if I paused it this whole time. I don't know, thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, Ace Amin versus Gems. Now, with that, of course, I mean, Ace winning. The winning is not the point. I think that if Jim's had his third round, all three rounds going that way, this would have been very much debatable. Very much debatable. This was a really good Ace Amin though. This wasn't a bad Ace Amin. This wasn't. I wouldn't even say this was a average. I just think that yeah, this was a good Ace Amin. I think he of course needs room to improve, and he's granted room to improve. It's not like we've seen him on 100 battles and like people like to talk about Ace because he does a lot of interviews, which really he does a few interviews, but they chop it up so much that you just think he's everywhere all the time. Um, but he does more interviews than he battles. His skill set don't match his marketing and blah blah. It's like actually I think it does, and I think that he's starting to fall into ways where the way that he's rapping is getting advanced because of what he's been doing, because of the interviews, because of the battles and the build up with John. All of that took place with that battle and the other battles and the shoulder bumping, all of that is just taking place into what he's able to say to people um, when he's in front of them. And I think people miss that. I think people miss a lot of the angles that he combined himself with the person that he's standing in front of, and he tries to paint a difference narrative. Like this is the difference between me and you. And I think he's just really good at that. And I think he's getting better. The more experience he has, the more whether wins, debatables, whatever he has, I think the more he'll be able to say to people. And he's going to become a really, really, really dangerous opponent. Jones was bad this battle, but that third round was really good. That's why I said if he had that all three rounds, it would have been really, really good. But moving on to the competition, from Nitty, man. Nitty versus Cortez, they went second. But Nitty, the reason why it's easy to go with him to win if you just betting on his last performances. But I could also see how people would have him losing because you don't expect for a person to be able to write at that level every time they write and stand in front of someone. Not only that, but in a competition, it's like yeah, the money is the motivation, but motivation only goes but so far as the brain allows it to. It's like oh, because Geechi is somebody I want to talk about next, of course. But I'm Nitty, man, just the man, the peak interest, that peak interest bar. I mean, not yeah, not peak interest. He said again, um, I'm still surprised at my gift because I haven't peaked yet. That shit was just like, oh, you could say bars like that in 2 weeks prep. You know, in 2 weeks prep, even if you're consistent, it can get mediocre, repetitive, whatever. And the fact that he had a lot of substance and angles in it, bro, was literally talking about his own potential for a couple bars, and it was just like, bro, he writes at this level in 2 weeks prep against anybody. Anybody. You lost, Cortez lost to him twice. Surf was like, yo, if he win this, he don't want to win this. Because there's problems that come with that. I believe he was hitting around at a possibility of them two battling. Should they battle anyway? Yeah, I mean, it's a competition. It's 2 weeks prep. You know, you still show that like you was right there. So I mean, at this point, if you don't battle him, you just don't want to. You just don't want to, and that is respectful, but just leave it at that because the teasing of them two battling is hilarious at this point. It's just a joke. It's like, yo, you literally keep blowing every chance that he so called is giving you. Like, oh, if you do this, then I'm gonna do this. Oh, if you do this, then I'll do it. It's like, come on, man, you gotta stop going for it. You stop going for surgery. It's not happening. If he's not battling you after this, then it just ain't gonna happen. It's literally gonna happen whenever it's the most convenient or some crazy shit, and you really don't want that to be an angle for him anyway, because he already has that huge angle on you, and it's gonna be bad. Um. Oh well, you can address the fact that he chokes or he dropped the ball or he retired and did this and that. Yeah, but he's still working for the company, still making money, still making music, really good music. He's still doing everything. It's like, and he could jump back in the ring anytime because the demand for him hasn't went away. The more you talk about him, the more you talk shit, the more he does other things, then he'll have the demand anyway. Now, as far as yeah, just run nitty one, run nitty one that battle. Anyway, what was I about to say? Geechi Gotti versus KCJ. That was an actually good battle. Yes, Geechi dominated, as in he was better, but he didn't dominate as in she was whack. We have to stop with this whole like every time a woman is rapping, people go to the deep end to say how whack or trash she is. Every line she can say. I just look at the comments, especially live. Now that most of this was been live, yo, just give the women a respect, man. They've proven it time and time again that they not only can rap just like the men. Sometimes they rap completely better than. Uh, Casey has showed improvement every time. Every time she stepped out, she showed improvement. Like people like her, Coffee, what she did in front of T Top, I still want to put a video out with that because I was breaking those rounds down. Anyway, KCJ deserves whatever plate is could be next. She deserves it. You was in $100,000 competition and you almost was at the end. It was almost at the end. You just had congratulations for Casey for making it far, for making people choke several battles, even before the competition, making people choke, intimidated. You raised fear with yourself. You raised awareness that you can rap, you can perform, you could be at a really high level, back to back to back. If she's not up for a champion of the year, then damn, it shouldn't even be oh well, let's put her with woman of the year. No, damn that. Put her as one of the runner ups for champion of the year. There's no way she's not one of the deserving ones, especially from her last year run, and you're still consistently doing this. She had real competition. She lost. Now Geechi, I have to talk about him a little separately. That man is special. People already trying to do greatest of all time conversations. It's like, no, you're not greatest of all time. It takes a little more. Just it's not just the skill level. It's other things that come into play when you're talking about GOAT and all of this. Like you have to really impact and really set a trend and really be talked about around the world. All kinds of like for your mute for whatever you're doing, whatever project you're doing, whether it's a battle, music, you're promoting something or someone is like, yeah, you that like I was saying in a comment, somebody was saying Geechi is a superstar. I'm like, he's definitely a star. but he's not a superstar. Superstar comes with, you know what a superstar is. When you look at Your Mother's House, and this is not a slight to him. When you look at Your Mother's House, you look at the type of numbers it's doing. Most battle rappers don't do close to that. And that's just what it is. That's him doing music. Plus when you do battles you're still getting the same type of numbers. It's in the millions, and whatever you do it gets crazy views. Lux gets crazy views, whatever he does. These are superstars. But yes, Geechi is a certified star. One thing that is undeniable, he is special. And he is special more than a lot of people. You're just talking about talent. Oh my god, 2 weeks prep. This was some of the most tailored bars I have ever heard. Hold on, let me pause this real quick. Yeah. So 2 weeks prep, man. Some of the most tailored bars I've ever heard against somebody. Fuck the clock. That I guarantee that's gonna be a new thing people say. Fuck the clock. Fuck that time. Like that shit was. It was intense. He was trying to break her ass down to molecules. That was so different. People gotta stop saying Run Nitty was gas. Uh, Run Nitty is gas. Geechi Gotti is boring. He can't rap. He don't have this and that. He say the same things. How? When he's tailoring his bars to his opponent. He did this in 2 weeks. I don't know if he had these rounds planned out years ago or a year or whatever. When he met her, he probably was just writing. Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was writing for her the day he met her. That Kid and Play bar was like, when the fuck in 2 weeks did you have enough? Don't be you worried about. I'm sorry, you need to go call your kid and play. Go home to your kid and play. Oh my god, that shit was ridiculous. Like, God, what? What? And even with Romney and Cortez, Cortez had a lot of good bars. It's just, he just he fucked up in the first round. Second round, he was good. Third round, it was another more fuck ups. Casey was fine. She just wasn't better than Geechi. Geechi snapped. That shit was so deadly. Ain't no, oh, you gotta see the replay. Alright, fine. If you want to break down every single line, Casey had the strongest. She had the strongest way to beat. She had the strongest defense that night. If I'm being honest, Cortez was sloppy. Jones was horrible, except for his third. And who else? Who was the first one that went? No, Jones and Ace Amin was a battle. The first, the one before that was fuck, I forgot who the hell it was. And I just said it earlier. That shit, that's so funny though, man. It's like everybody else that lost. Casey was the only one that had a good defense. And that's another reason why it's like whatever oh yeah, Oops and Holmesy. Oops was completely better than Holmesy. He had way more substance, way more just to talk about. He had the shot, well, not the shot value, but he had the, oh shit, you want caffeine. He had that. He had the stardom approach. Like, he had a lot. And plus his bars on top of that. He was just better than Holmesy. And all I'm saying is this. Fucking nose is itching. Uh, when I start getting allergies in my nose and shit be itching and feeling dry. But anyway, so yeah, Casey did well. She deserves whatever's next. She deserves bigger conversations. She deserves more respected conversations. And yes, Surf said something that stood out. about how the women should support each other more in battle rap. Absolutely. Y'all need these hives, man. We're like this is where the participation from the female audience comes into play when they start seeing the support. It shouldn't just be when you're going like it's a competition against the guys, so we all support each other. No, fuck that. She was the last one in the competition as a woman. It should have been everybody in there. Like, yo, we in here. We cheering for everything you saying, all of that. Because Geechi gonna have his. What they said he was comfortable. Look at him. He was just sitting up there and just barking. Said it was like, yo, 2 weeks prep. This from him and Rum Nitty, this was $100,000 worth of competition rapping. This felt like battle rap. Even we'll talk about Ill Will and A War later, but this felt like battle rap. For it to not have a crowd, it felt like it didn't need one. And yo, when you got $100,000 on the line, some people get paid that every 4 years when they decide to rap or some shit, or they get close to that, or get it in the range of that. You got some top tiers that don't even see that. So if you're going in the competition, this what they were saying is like $25,000 a round. I mean $25,000 a week every time you battling. This opens the doors to every other type of conversation. You could sit down for literally a little bit of time. Get your other businesses together, do concentrate on marketing yourself, getting yourself more out there. Like, yo, I just had $100,000 competition. I won it. I was on Night of Main Events, one of the biggest events of Smack, one of the biggest battle rap events, period. Yo, man, like, this is the stage where all the legends and god tiers and goats touch. Top tiers, even the best mid tiers are on Night of Main Events. And I'm going for 100,000 and I won. This is when you put your plaque and you just solidify it and you say, all right, I'm chilling. I'm chilling until the bigger plates come. I'm out here. I'm just marketing myself now. I'm just getting famous. I'm just doing shit to get attention on everything else. You've seen that from Rum Nitty and Geechi. You've seen it from Casey. Honestly. You even seen it from Cortez before yesterday. You seen it from all four of them. Everybody else, it was like, nah, not really. But Geechi and Rum, man, those, it's the level. It's the level, man. It's the level. There's no more denying anything. KCJ is just, they at different levels. All three of them, all at different levels. I'm out of here. I'm done with that. Geechi and Rum Nitty for N.O.M.E 11. That shit gonna be crazy. Who do I got winning for that? It's 3 weeks. So I mean, if I'm judging off of just bars, of course I'm gonna go with Rum Nitty. But if I'm judging for tailoring shit and making that really hit, then I'm gonna go for Geechi. But damn, I want to go for Rum, man. He's an alien. So I'm out of here. I got Rum Nitty winning the 100. I think. Damn, I got Geechi. Alright.